The Detroit Lions will be competitive next year. That's probably the nicest thing I could say about them going into the 2021 season. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So we're back again, once again, with our next deep dive in this series. We're going to take a look at the Detroit Lions. We're going to take a look at the roster, take a look at the scheme, going to project the starters, and then I'm going to predict how they'll do next year. And let me tell you, if you didn't check out the Texans video, then you know them being next in this list is not a good thing. But let's go ahead. Let's dive into this sucker, starting with the roster. And yeah, I think this team can be competitive because at the end of the day, some people may not like to hear this, I think Jared Goff's a top 20 quarterback. I do. I think, or at least he can be. He can play like one. He's shown it. Now, what does Dan Campbell and what does Anthony Lynn bring to this offense? Well, with Dan Campbell, you got to think, oh, it's going to be run heavy. And I think that will be true, especially how they drafted being able to snag Penei Sewell where they did. And with that, they got a beefy offensive line. They got a really good offensive line. So I don't blame them for that. Now, a lot of people may associate Anthony Lynn for his time with the Chargers being more pass happy. I don't think that's really the case. It's just the running game really wasn't successful there under him because their offensive line just sucked through that whole duration. Ask Phillip Rivers. He could testify. I don't know why I said it that way. Now, if you go back to his time in Buffalo, though, he was definitely more willing to run. He was a run-first guy. I think that we're going to see that. I don't think he's going to neglect the passing game by any means, but I think they're going to know their strengths. They got a very good offensive line. They got a former second rounder in DeAndre Swift. They're going to utilize that. They know they don't have very many playmakers to receiver, but let's go ahead. Let's go over the offensive line. Let's go over the running back. Offensive line, star-studded. Taylor Decker, very underappreciated around the league. He's a very good tackle. They're going to be pairing him up with Penei Sewell. Very nice. Just two big guys that move well. Big V, because I ain't going to try to pronounce his name. He's going to slide into guard. He actually did that part of last year. Also, he dealt with a little bit of injury, but they're paying him too much. He's going to probably slide into that right guard spot. Logan Steenberg's probably going to be the backup there, while I don't know why they have Tyrell Crosby listed as the backup at guard. He's going to be probably backup at tackle. Yeah. Frank Ragnow, one of the best centers in the league. Jonah Jackson, he had some ups. He had some downs, but I expect him to be better in year 2. So overall, I think really the weakest link is probably Jonah Jackson on this offensive line, which is not bad, especially if he improves. What you're dealing with though, DeAndre Swift, man, he's not exactly dynamic. He can catch the football out of the backfield. He can run effectively. I don't think he does too much to force missed tackles, but I think they're going to really allow him to get to the second level pretty easy. In terms of his backup, I mean, they got Jamal Williams. I think he's more of a receiving back. They also bring in Jamar Jefferson, who he's very similar to DeAndre Swift in the regards of he's not very dynamic. He's not going to be a home run threat. He doesn't do a lot to make guys miss outside of just shrugging them off. But, yeah, he doesn't do much in the passing game either. They're probably going to keep a fourth back on the squad. Michael Warner is probably my bet at that. But, yeah, man, this I really think they could be successful in that way, and they just sprinkle in the passing attack. And, I mean, they have TJ Hawkinson, who is actually a pretty solid blocking tight end in his own right, kind of emerged as the in the passing offense last year, and then Darren Fells being the backup, a nice vet guy right there. Now let's go to the playmakers, lack thereof. When your starters are Rashad Perriman and Tyrell Williams, you know they're in trouble. So they got two very vertical guys here. I imagine they're gonna balance that out with Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe probably playing in the slot, very crafty route runner. He's probably gonna open up a lot underneath and in the intermediate for Jared Goff, he has been one of the most inaccurate downfield passers. So, man, you got speed receivers to stretch the field, but that's not Goff's strength, man. Like he's better he's better at dumping it low or targeting the intermediate of the field. So yeah, even that's why I mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, because Khalif Raymond, that he's another vertical separator. I mean, I honestly think we could see Quintez Cephas see a lot more time on the outside. Just kind of up in the air. I don't know over who, Perriman or Williams. Both are very lackluster. But those five guys, there might be one other receiver that makes the roster here. I mean, Victor Bolden has some special teams viability. And then they also have these three undrafted free agents. Sage Surratt being probably the bigger name of the bunch. Big possession guy. Big possession guy that ain't running away from anybody. Jonathan Adams is very similar in that regard. I think he's got a bit better speed to him. Javon McKinley also kind of in that same facet. But hey, they got Geronimo. They got Geronimo. Watch out. But yeah, I was kind of puzzled by some of the offseason pickups. Just because I don't think guys like Williams and Perriman complement Goff. But I mean, I could be wrong about that. I really do think Quintez Cephas is going to see a lot more play. It's just really hard to tell where. Really hard to tell where, but yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown probably going to be the starter in the slot there, just since he's a Goff. I imagine he'd be a Goff guy, but yeah, this is going to be a very run heavy team. Just not with a lot of options in the passing game. All right, on to the defense. So they also bring in a new defensive coordinator in Aaron Glenn, who's coming from the Saints. So I imagine he's going to be running a lot of cover one and cover twos. And I think they're going to stick with the more man-heavy coverage scheme, which, again, that complements Jeff Okudah. I think he's gonna rebound after a rough year last year. Also dealt with the abdominal injury, so I expect him to be much better. The question is, who starts across from him? Is it going to be Amani Aruwari, or is it going to be Quinton Dunbar? Some people might be like, whoa, but what about Fati Melifonwu? Dude, I don't think he starts immediately. I think he's a bit raw. I think maybe more down the stretch he might see some time, but I think they rather go with either a vet like Quinton Dunbar, who has had some stellar play couple of years ago. Just last year he was real banged up, and then Aruwari, they have no allegiance to him. He was drafted a couple of seasons ago, so yeah, I could see him getting replaced or even kicked into the slot. But Elder Corn, I bet you that dude's gonna hold down. He was solid for the Panthers last season, so I don't see them moving off him. So I think the safeties, they're going to get a lot more help because really they were playing single high. I don't think we're going to see a lot of single high. I think we're going to see both safeties back there. Will Harris, I imagine it's going to be Tracy Walker and then Will Harris. It could very well be Dean Marlowe, but I'm not. I feel more so Will Harris. But With that being said, what about pass rush? Because again, with coverage, you need great pass rush. I don't know if they have it. Trey Flowers is a nice piece from the old regime. He's better when you could kind of sprinkle him along the defensive line, and I don't know if they necessarily do that. They like, and I mean Romeo Akawara is kind of coming off a breakout year, but like I don't know if both these guys together will get adequate pass rush. But Julian Akawara, he could come off like the bench and maybe be like that spark. Like this guy is a pure speed rusher. They brought in Charles Harris. Austin Bryant, I don't know if he makes the roster, I'm going to be honest. He has not shown a lot in the last couple of seasons. But where they really, because they did beef up the line, and how they did that was through the interior. Bringing in Michael Brockers is real nice, but Aleem McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike, solid, dude. I was a big Aleem McNeil fan, and gosh, I really do think he's going to see a lot of time, especially considering that I think Onwuzurike, Riki? Yeah, Wuzarek. I don't know. Now the draft's over. I don't know how to say these guys' names, but he's not a finished product by any means. Not to say Aleem McNeil is. Aleem McNeil got a ton of upside. It's just doesn't have too much in terms of pass rushing moves. But Levi, he took a year off. He had the opt-out year. And he was playing a role there at Washington that he's not going to play in the NFL. He's literally playing zero tech. He's the 3 tech in the NFL. So I think he's going to need some time to adjust. But another guy with big upside that's probably you're going to be your tackles of the future there. But they got Brockers here. Nicholas Williams is a solid guy, but I don't know if he makes the roster as a vet. They could, quite frankly, they could release 2 of the late round draft picks from last year in Cornell and Pinasini. So maybe they do keep Williams, get him into the rotation. But I don't know. I'm not too optimistic in terms of what they're going to do from a pass rush perspective. I mean, Jamie Collins, dude's a fabulous Russian linebacker. You could say the same about Derek Barnes, who they drafted this past season. But can any of these guys do anything in coverage? I mean, Jelani Tavai, dude, he hasn't shown nothing. Like, the dude's not great in coverage. Not even good. He is subpar in coverage. I honestly think Alex Anzalone is going to probably start over him. We might see Sean Dion Hamilton in passing downs. He's a pretty solid coverage linebacker. But I mean, these guys inspire nothing in me. Actually, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, I heard, might have got hurt. I don't know. It's not a minor, but yeah, he's gonna be buried on the depth chart. So while I don't think the defense is good. Let's be frank. I don't think it's good, or at least good enough. I don't care what kind of jump that Jeff Okudah makes. I just don't think they have the pass rush right now. Like, I think Akawara is a solid pass rusher when next to someone else. I don't think they have that someone else on the roster. You may be like, what about Trey Flowers? Trey Flowers is better used as a utility guy, where he's allowed to move freely around the line. Kind of a chess piece, so to speak. But even in New England, he wasn't the main course pass rusher. So I just don't think they have that on the roster. Oh, I forgot to mention Deshaun Hand. He's in the mix for the interior there. I don't know why they listed him at edge. But I guess this is the part where we go ahead and take a gander at my projected starters. Keep in mind, when it comes to my projected starters, These are guys who I like. This is who I think are going to get the most snaps next season. So let's start it. Let's get her done. Jared Goff obviously is going to be your starter at quarterback. DeAndre Swift at running back. I got Perriman and Williams as the starters on the outside. Quintez Cephas, expect to see a lot of him though. Amon-Ra St. Brown at the slot. TJ Hawkinson at tight end. Then Decker, Jackson, Ragnow, Big Daddy V, and Sewell there on the interior, on the offensive line. And then as for the defense, I got Romeo Akawara, Trey Flowers, Michael Brockers, Liam McNeil for the reasons I stated. That's why I think he's probably going to start over Ozoriki. Alex Anzalone, Jamie Collins, Jeffrey Okuda, Amani Aruwari, Corn Elder, Tracy Walker, and Will Harris I got as the starters. Yeah, like I said, I feel like I made a good case who I think is going to start and why. Aruwari, I think he might edge out Dunbar. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Dunbar might not even make it to the roster. He should make it on the roster, though. He's a pretty good vet corner. He might end up starting. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what his track record is with Aaron Glenn, man. But Aaron Glenn, we might see I was going to say we might see some 3-3-5 from him, but I don't think so. Their linebackers aren't good. Why would I want more linebackers on the field? They don't exactly have another safety I'd be willing to throw on the field. Instead, if anything, yeah, you're running maybe like on. If I'm being honest, yeah, man, this defense is gonna be bad. But there's promise. There's promise. I promise you. So let's go ahead, take a look at the record. Here's the prediction. Here it comes. Here she is. I got him at a hot 3-14. I did say that they're going to be competitive. Gotta appreciate the ad just dropping right there. But I do think they're going to be competitive. I don't see them being a winning team, man. I just don't see it. I got them with a 1-5 division record, with their only win coming against the Bears. I think the Vikings actually will be a much better team this season. So I don't know if they beat the Vikings. And if Aaron Rodgers, I'm assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing, so I don't think they beat an Aaron Rodgers led Packer team. Some people might be like, well, they have. But yeah, it was with Matthew Stafford. As for their wins, I had it against the Bengals, which I think that's believable. That's a young Bengals squad, and their defense is probably maybe in worse shape. Then, again, the Bears. And then I had the Cardinals. I was like, I had to have one surprise and like win here because I really think they can. They're gonna be competitive, and I think they could sneak in another win. So I was like Eagles, Cardinals, or the Falcons as possible wins. So, and I'm just going with the Cardinals, man. Cliff Kingsbury, I just don't buy into him. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get to that. Is there any promise for the squad? Not this season, I think. They might end up winning more games. Like, this might be a 5 or 6 win team. That might be the ceiling. I honestly, they don't have the playmakers. I think they're going to end up drafting quarterback, and they're going to have to make moves in the offseason. Yeah, because I don't think you're exactly going to find, like, top-tier receivers in this upcoming draft class. Like, it's interesting, but they're going to probably have to do it in the second round. Like, this team feels like it's a cup, maybe 3 seasons away from being a true competitor. I should say contender. They'll compete. That has been probably the theme of the video. The Lions will compete. But yeah, until they could get better in the playmaker regard, they have Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I'm not even sold on Quintez Cephas. So they need to bring in at least 2 to 3 wide receivers. I think they do need to go out and get a pass rusher as well. They could definitely always get better at corner. Like, this team just feels like they're not close yet. But yeah, it is what it is. And like I was saying in my other video with the team like the Texans, I feel like they're a lot closer even without Deshaun Watson, simply because they can trade Deshaun Watson and the value that brings in. The Lions don't have that. They don't have that. They just don't have that. But yeah, hopefully, I'm not trying to be discouraging. I'm just trying to be realistic. I get it. I said this in the last video. I'm gonna be saying this for any team I have as losers. I'm a Dolphins fan, man. I get it. I know when the team was bad, it's a struggle, but it's okay. I mean, Detroit, yeah. I mean, your team's always kind of been bad, right? But it'll be all right. You'll get through this. You'll move forward. I think this past draft, was a big first step, very positive first step, and I think they can work from there. Especially now that the offensive line's together, nice and reliable. Man, just wait, because then you could throw a quarterback immediately behind that offensive line, especially if you get a good run game going. Like, it makes world a difference, and just get a couple receivers in there, and man, like, okay, this offense could be legit. You just gotta work on the defense. But yeah, that's probably it for the video. So yeah, that's it for the video then. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated. Much obliged. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll be back again with another one of these. Remember, we're going from worst to first, baby. So, yeah. Till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.